What's going on there, guys? My name is Pone. On a more personal level, you can call me Daddy, Dustin, if you'd like. And there's been a major change in my life that some of you may or may not know. Those that follow me on Twitter, you know. Those that don't, shame on you. You should do that. Link down below. Shameless plug. So, I'm going through a divorce right now. And needless to say, it's the most complicated and hurting process I have ever been part of. Would not advise, 0 out of 10. So, the way I wanted to put this video together is explain what I'm going through, give you my advice for those that are looking to take that marriage plunge, and kind of just give you the best understanding of it as I can. For all of my adult life, it's 10 years, I'm 28 years old now, I have been with my wife, Amanda. And I mean, we shared all the firsts together, right? First kiss upstairs and below the waist. We're talking first car, first apartment, first house. Shut up, phone star. First dog adoption. We have 3 beautiful kids together. And it was my first in so many ways. And to be fair, I never really envisioned life beyond what we have built together. And though I'm not personally a fan of marriage, I don't feel like you need an okay from the big man upstairs to say, hey, I love this person and I want to spend my life with this person. But she did, so I went out of my comfort zone and I actually got married. We put that shit on paper. And I like the symbolism of the rings and stuff too, so I was kind of like, okay, she wanted it, I'll do it for her. And I wanted it to be something important to me. I told her before we ever even became serious that when I got married, I was only going to do it once, and I will probably only ever do it once. So what does this mean for the future for you? Honestly, I'm uncertain. I never imagined a future without my partner in crime, you know. I never so much as thought, what would I do if Amanda wasn't here? It was never a possibility in my mind. I never saw this coming, to be fair. I was quite blindsided. And now I've got to think about all of this. Now, if you guys did not know, last summer, when I effectively quit, made the big video, that was me choosing, for those that didn't know, that was me choosing between either my career or saving my family. Our marriage has been a little rough for about 2 years now. Communication being a big factor, a handful of other things we'll get into in a second to help you guys out in your future relationships, but more so, we've been working on it for a while. My hours were so overwhelming. For those that do not know, they just think, hey, we play video games for a living. We network, we stream, we upload, we edit, we grind for gameplay that's worthy of your eyes. I put about 80 to 90 hour weeks in for years. No days off. There was one period in this 8-year career that I've done YouTube that I did 4 years straight without a single day off. And that's a lot of work. Not only 12 to 14 hours a day on average of work. And those days that I want to have only like 5 or 6 hours of work, that's when I pull in the 14, 16 hour days. So it kind of all works out. But those kinds of hours were not easy to sustain a happy lifestyle. And I was letting my wife down. I wasn't around my kids as much. So I decided to make this change, which allowed me basically one option. And that was to give up the career that I worked 7 years on at the time, and that was YouTube. And that's why I said goodbye to YouTube. When I was making good money, I had a pretty established fan base in Destiny, and I was gone for 4 or 5 months, and I got healthier. I felt like we were doing better, and I decided to jump back into it. So for the last year, I've been trying to rebuild my name, my brand, trying to get back out there, letting people know that, hey, we're making content again, and that's my goal now. If I am no longer exhausted and trying to save my marriage, because it's effectively KO'd now, bruh, I think this means I get to focus more on me now. I need to become a better person. I need to do more for my kids now and provide for them. Obviously, more money's necessary, but more so, more about me now. I get to become what I've wanted to, and more importantly with my career too, which is YouTube and Twitch, I get to put more time invested into it and get to focus more on making good content. I want to be better. I've never been satisfied. Even during the glory days where I was doing quite well, the numbers were great, but that wasn't enough for me. I'm always want to aim higher. I'm not okay just sitting still and accepting what I have. I want to keep pushing and grinding. And this means Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4 videos are coming back. More importantly, sniping, aggressive recon. I'm going to bring back things that I enjoyed. I'm going to keep working on Destiny, Armory, and Versus videos. I like the technical side of Destiny. maybe some Call of Duty nukes, maybe even a nuke with every gun show coming out. So there are lots of things that I have on the agenda for YouTube, and of course streaming. Every day I'm going to be streaming from 8 a.m. Eastern to 4 p.m. Eastern. If you guys want to swing by, support me there, hang out, have fun, get to know me in an awesome community that we've developed, that link is down below too. Twitch is a lot of fun if you've never participated in it. You get to meet a lot of cool people. And that's my goal now. 8 hours a day at Twitch, and then a few hours of YouTube dedicated each day. And that's pretty cool. Now, back on track, marriage. So, it's exhausting, man. And marriage to me is like a living thing. You gotta feed it donuts, and you gotta make sure that it's well taken care of. It's a thing you have to continuously work at. You can't take breaks. You take breaks, that creates slumps, creates distance. This is something that you need to wake up every day and say, hey, I gotta attend to this. I gotta work at this. And a lot of people just assume, and there's ups and downs in any relationship, any marriage, but a lot of people just assume as long as you're happy, that doesn't run out. That's not true. There's no such thing as just pure happiness. In my opinion, things that you want, things that you enjoy, you need to fight for. And if ever you start to get content or you start to slow down, there's a good chance the relationship can suffer from it. And that's what we have been suffering from for the last couple of years. Our communication wasn't big, and communication is the key to every relationship, ladies and gentlemen. Don't be afraid to let your heart out there. Don't be afraid to say, hey, this bothers me, or this hurts my feelings. I know a lot of men out there and a lot of women out there are afraid to open up and be vulnerable, but that's what a relationship is. Whether or not you're just BFFs, BFs, whatever it is, you need to make sure that you can openly talk to somebody. That requires a certain level of comfort, but that is key to any relationship. If you guys can't talk to each other and tell each other what upsets you, what makes you happy, what's pleasurable, you're never going to get to that level where everything's great. And I think once you get that established, once you get communication built and a certain level of trust there, things get easier. We never really had that, and I feel like that is the roughest part in our relationship. We tried, but it was pretty hard, to be fair. Not to put any blame, because it's both of our faults why this hasn't come together, but personally, she has asked me for a divorce. She told me that she no longer loves me anymore, and that romance isn't there. We love each other in a way that you would love family or a really nice hamburger. I'm fat, by the way. Don't judge my love for hamburgers. And we care about each other. We want each other to be successful. We want each other to be in our kids' lives. This is not a bad marriage, right? This isn't like we had bad years and we were mean towards each other. There is no hate or hostility whatsoever, and I highly doubt that would ever develop between us, even with splitting the kids up, and I guess I get the torso, she gets the legs. I don't know how this works, but it should be a very interesting grind, and this is definitely not how I envisioned it. My family's shrinking, and I still love this girl. She may not have the same feelings or know how to reciprocate it, but when I said I do, I meant that shit. I don't believe in giving up, and I know some people can, and I don't see that as a sign of weakness. I mean, at some point you gotta realize things aren't healthy and say, hey, this is enough, and apparently she's hit that threshold. She's crossed that line, and she's wanting something else from life, and I respect it, I get it, and it can be easy to tell somebody you're doing this, and she's about to lose her kids for every other week out of, well, their child lives. That's a sacrifice, and a lot of people stay together strictly for the sake of the kids, and it's 2017. You don't have to do that anymore. And she deserved to have her happiness. I deserve to have mine. Whether or not that's me burying into my career, that's what I want personally. I don't really care for finding another companion anytime soon, if ever again, actually. I put everything I am into this relationship. I know what it's like. I don't know if I want to go through all this again. The pain I can deal with. Pain's learning, and pain was totally worth all the joy we had. So it's not I'm afraid of being hurt. It's just, when I tell you guys marriage is a lot of work, holy shit. It's a lot of work. It's tolerating things you disagree with. It's coming together and coordinating things. It's a really crazy team-based effort. It's totally worth it. Don't get me wrong. But a lot of people just get married because the romance levels are higher, the lust is high, and they don't think out what's going to happen. I would recommend people be together like 4 or 5 years before they ever consider even getting married. And it's a big step, and marriage nowadays is so easy because you have a way out, that, oh, we can always just get divorced. People just don't value what weddings and marriage truly is anymore, and I feel like You guys need to be on the same page. You need to want the same thing, the same values, and you need to want a family. You need to want to grow old. You want to make sure all the living and the experimenting and dating other people, ooh, let's try a black dude, all of that stuff needs to be out of your system before you move on. So if ever there's a moment in your life where you feel like, hey, I may want to try something else out, I wanted to do this, then you're not ready for marriage. You need to understand what you're doing. And you got to also keep in mind that even though you get married, this is a partner. You guys can have fun. Try to find somebody that has similarities with you. Just because you're married doesn't mean you guys can't go surfing or snorkeling. I mean, I've got a bathtub. It's easy to do, right? I mean, it's a teamwork thing. There's lots of effort. There's going to be arguments. There's going to be struggle. But there's also glorious and wonderful things you guys can do together. You need to find a partner that makes you happy, that sustains you, that satisfies, and reciprocates it. It's something that people need to understand. And quite often in a relationship, many people will tell you this. I feel like I'm old as hell now talking to a bunch of kids right now. Gather around, kids. Love is not always equal. It's actually quite rare that you have somebody that cares about another person in the same level that the other one. It's almost always weighed on one side. One person tries harder, or one person is more passionate than the other. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. As long as the other person's passion and love is high, that's okay. But there's generally one person that really puts in that extra effort. And again, like I said, this is a lot how love works, and that's okay. And I feel like the ones that give back and forth are really beneficial. Ours was never necessarily like that. But I don't feel like she never loved me or didn't love me in a certain way. I'm a very passionate person, and you guys should know this. And I put anything and everything into it. I took great care of her and our kids, and it just didn't work out. Sometimes things happen. I don't believe in falling out of love, though. I think if you love a person, you always love a person. I feel like it can go dormant. Shit can lag a little bit every once in a while. But love is love. And I don't think it can fade. You either love somebody, you think you loved somebody, or you didn't love somebody. It's one of three. But love is a beautiful thing. Marriage is a beautiful thing, and the advice that I can give you guys is work on it. You got to keep that thing oiled. You got to keep it tuned. Don't slack. Don't waste time. I'm now waking up every day to Facebook messages showing me my memories of me smiling with her and the kids from 4 or 5 years ago. And now I realize I'll never have that again. And then I blame myself for not working harder. Because I know I could have put more in. I know I could have done more when it mattered. And now I feel sad because I didn't acknowledge it, or I didn't think it was as bad as it was. And the moment you start thinking, it's not that bad, we can handle this, it's actually that bad. And you need to do whatever you can to fix it right then and there. Because a marriage is going to have up and downs. Maybe even a year or two of up and downs. And you got to find a way to get that back together. And there's no such thing as a perfect marriage. There isn't. There isn't. And it's a big thing. Out of everything, the only thing that I ever wanted from a kid, I never had dreams to be an astronaut. I never had career goals. I've always just wanted to help people. And I'm kind of satisfied with that. That's all I want to do. Like, it's what kept me going through YouTube, through the up and downs. It's why I'm still doing this despite not making really good money. It's because I like helping people. So I never had anything like that. All I ever wanted to be was a good dad and a good husband. And I felt like I was a good husband. I don't feel like I screwed up. I was never mean to her. I actually took care of her. I was very good. Very huge. It was good. Our marriage overall, despite the last couple years, were amazing. They're remarkable. I wouldn't trade them for anything. Even knowing and feeling what I feel now, I love it. It's totally worth it. And we have 3 beautiful boys now, which is great. But the unique thing about choosing a partner is you get to choose. This is the biggest decision in your life. You know, picking out a car, that's pretty big. Choosing a house, especially if you have it with somebody, that's pretty big. But picking a person that you plan to spend the rest of your life with, and that's not for everyone, but picking that person that you want to grow old with. If that person was to get in a car accident and you had to take care of them the rest of their life, you need to find a person you'd be willing to do things like that for. You would do anything in the world for. And this is a big decision. I wanted kids, right? That was number 1 on my list. And I love my boys more than I loved Amanda. It's a different kind of love, a different kind of decision, because I wanted kids, but I didn't necessarily get to go to a buffet and say, hey, I'll take that one. That's got cute ass cheeks, I want to pinch them. No, I had to take whatever flesh ball rolled out of that thing. And I love my kids. I wouldn't trade my kids for anything, but you get what I'm saying here is you can choose to have kids, but you can't pick your kid. You can, however, pick your partner. whether or not it's a dude, a girl, you get some idea of what you're logging into with that. You pick the person you want to spend the rest of your life with. Kids are 18, 20 years. You have those. And then you have your mature years where you get to travel and experience each other and share each other and refine yourselves and explore and have so much more freedom without the stress of work and life, and you just get to live more. You need to find somebody you want to grow old with and share all the good and the bad with. And that's what marriage is. You gotta be serious about this. Stop being a statistic. Stop letting things turn into divorce. This kills me knowing that I'm a statistic now and I'm one of the numbers. And I never wanted that to be. Sometimes it happens. But make sure you know what you're getting into when you do it, and cherish the hell out of each other. Love each other, put everything you are into it, or eventually, just like anything else, like I said, it's a living thing, it will die. So you gotta keep up with it. You can't slack. It's important. Family's important. So work at it, guys. That's my advice. That's my talk. Like I said, lots of things changing in my life right now. I thank you guys for being patient. This is a very rough time for me. Obviously, I'm losing the person I wanted to spend the rest of my life with. That was my future set, and now my future's uncertain. I'm unclear about what to do, and I need to evaluate and juggle all this stuff, taking care of my kids, building up the financials. I'm a wreck right now, guys. I am. But I want to thank you guys for being there for me. I've always been there for you guys, and it means so much to me. For those that come out and they watch my videos, you guys leave likes, comments, share them on social media. You guys swing out in Twitch, and those that just hang out, tip, all of that. You guys have been so instrumental in providing for my family and myself for years, and I'm going to work hard at trying to get back to where that is so I can turn this career back on track. We can grow our channel, we can be bigger, I can make better content, more content, and I'm really stoked for what the future has. I'm actually in some way relieved because I can now spend more time worrying about other things that are more important to me. So I love you guys. Thank you for everything you've done. You've been here from the start. You guys remember that Black Ops 1 video where I said, she said yes? We've been through a lot together. You guys, I consider family. So thank you, and I wish you guys the best of luck. I hope you find what I found. Even if mine was temporary, I hope you find that, because love and marriage, they're beautiful things. Just know what you're getting into and know what you're signing up for. Thank you guys. Love you. Good luck out there.